However, if the conditions change somehow, which is something that none of us could envision, you know, in 3 years down the road, then, you know, that discretion would be to that board that's sitting there at that time.
Is there any problem pushing it out to 5 then? It's hard, it's gonna be hard for me to make a lot of changes and do a lot of things. And again, I understand what you're saying. I'm not trying to be argumentative, but I do not want to get into a situation where, well, and I don't know what those changes would be, like, well, things have changed and we decided we don't want a racetrack. And I've spent, you know, $500,000 out there doing upgrades, and now I can't race, so.
Mayor, is there any reason we can't split the difference, maybe 4?
With everyone's thoughts on the years.
Is there something legal that it has to be 3 or?
No,
it could be any length, I think.
Yeah, it can be any.
1 to 100, or I mean,
Yes.
I'm okay with 100.
I'd say with
I can guarantee, if it's 100, I can guarantee you this will not be the board in 100 years.
Grandfather.
Yeah.
I would. I don't want to come up here in 3 or 4 years and say, yeah. And I understand what you're saying. I understand the logic, what everybody's saying. So, I guess.
Like possibly 4. Scott, what do you
I
think?
think that is out as a, you know,
Alder Schaefer, what are your thoughts?
compromise.
I don't see a problem with giving you 4. Only the one loophole I think we need to cover up here is not transferable. If you decide for some reason to sell the track, this CUP doesn't transfer to the.
Well, as long, again, now, you've taken a piece of property I got and made it totally useless at that point. And if I sell the track, the conditions will go with it, I'm assuming, that they would have to meet. But if you saying I can't sell this track without this conditional use permit, I got a piece of property that ain't worth nothing if I ever decide to sell it.
And actually, the conditional use permit does go with the property rather the owner, so it is fully transferable. The only stipulation in the ordinance about how the fact that it goes to a new owner is just that the new owner notifies the city that they own it and have possession.
Right, and still have to meet the conditions that you guys have set that I have to meet.
That's part of the reason we're in this mess is what happens by the transfer, and I'm like,
Well, the problem with the old one was that, and I'll be honest with you, there was no stipulations
no.
at all. I mean, I understand.
Days a week, 24 hours a day,
Yeah, I understand,
and
yeah,
that's one of the reasons we're here.
yeah.
Bob, yeah.
Well, that being said, so if, for instance, you sell it next year in a three-year agreement, the next, property owner only has 2 years left on that existing CUP. And then he's gotta come back to the table, go through the process.
Correct. Yeah, the CUP belongs to the property, so.
Will that all be put in the new CUP that will have to be have to happen?
It's in the city ordinance.
It's in the codes, yeah.
Yeah.
Just covering all bases.
Yeah, and we'll be much more intentional to stay up with that.
Alderman Scully, where are you at on New Year's?
I like to see it stay 3 year this time.
3.
Alderman West?
I don't have a problem with 4.
Alderman Arnold?
Let's be I'm comfortable with the 3. It's the only leverage we have. If you do sell and the new owner comes in and has difficulties with what we've agreed with here.
Well, he's still gonna have to, and if I'm wrong, he's not gonna get any leniency that I don't have spelled out for me, is he? If I was to sell it, nothing's gonna change. He would still have to do exactly, and I'm assuming even if I sold it, when it came up, if conditions hadn't changed, it would still be renewed.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's not gonna make any difference whether I own it or someone else owns it.
I'm just remembering the history here, that we've been working with this and with you for over 3 years now. Yeah, and since the really involved discussions have come along, it's been 3 years. And, trying to work with you and come up with a way before we got to the point that we had to remove the CUP, so we could get one in place that was something that you could follow.
And, this, because there wasn't a sunset clause on the previous one, that forced our hands on some of the issues. The sunset clause on this one allows us to make sure that, you know, we work together.
Right.
And that's what I want to see. I appreciate all the people who came tonight. You were very cordial, and I appreciate that. And I want to see that continue. But the whole thing is we need to, you know, once we get this worked out and agreed to, you know, that's what we need to follow, and not have any animosity, because that's the rules we agreed to. That's what the rules are. Okay? So, that's why I don't see a problem with the 3 years.
I was gonna get creative and say 45 months, but. That was, I don't know. So, 4, 4, 3, 3, 4, 3. I don't know, 45 months or not, I don't know.
The only reason I'm asking for that is that if I do improvements out there, and again, it may be a moot point, you know, and I'm hoping it is a moot point.
Well,
I don't
let
want
me,
to
I
spend
mean,
a
I
lot
don't
of
know,
money out.
are you okay with, you had said 5, and then what they've discussed is 4 and 3. I mean, I guess my question is, does 4 years help you out or not when it comes
I mean, one more year if I decide to do something to recoup my investment. I mean, the whole idea, and again, listening to what your attorney says, it may be a moot point. I may be worrying about something that's not a problem, you know, and hopefully that's what he's saying. As long as the conditions don't change, it's a moot point. I'm having a hard time saying I'm gonna do a bunch of work out there and in 3 years, somebody changed their mind, you know.
But that extra year, 4 years,
Hair more insurance. I've got one more season to recoup my investment, no matter what I decide to do in improvement.
I don't have a problem with 4 years. If we do that. Then number 9 is structures and property must maintain full compliance or approved city building code. Is that a given with city code?
Yeah, and originally that came up just to kind of draw the light to the fact that improvements have been made out there that the city didn't have permits on, so what we just want to make sure is if there's any additional improvements, that the city is involved in that.
And I'll try to stay, some of the stuff I've done, I guess I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do them, I guess, so I will try in the future to, if I decide to do something, at least ask, you know. I'm sure there must be something done out there that, I think one of the things is bleachers. I mean, they took down one set of bleachers and I put up another set that were just like we already had, but I didn't get a permit for it, but I didn't think I was supposed to, because all I did was take down one set and put up another one, so. I'm assuming that's one of the issues. One of the letters I read that someone had wrote, that was one of the things that I read in the letters, so. I don't have a problem of working with Ryan in the future if I decide to do something, make sure I'm in compliance before I start on it.
And as far as number 9 goes...
Is there anything out there that needs to be inspected now?
I'd have to visit with Dennis about it. I mean, I know that the bleachers haven't been inspected, but to be honest with you, I've never gone out to actually take a look at them. I mean, the biggest thing is that we want to make sure that if it's a public improvement and that there's going to be a large amount of the public on it, is that it's safe, and that helps Dennis. I mean, we're not going out there trying to get engineered stamps on everything that he has, but just basic life safety stuff. So number 9 doesn't even necessarily have to be included as a condition, because
It happens anyways.
the conditional use permit's going to say that all city ordinances are applicable.
So we don't even need number 9 in there.
It's up to your discretion, but yeah, I mean, either way, we will be able to work through that in the future, whether it's in there or not. The big thing was just to kind of draw the light to the fact that we wanted to make sure moving forward that we were involved in projects.
Kind of goes hand in hand with 10 though, because there's provisions for taking action if he doesn't comply.
Yeah.
But if that's automatic in city code anyhow, then we don't have to worry about it. So if we don't need 9, we don't need 10, or if we need 10, we need 9.
I think number 10, we will have to put in there, because there currently is not a penalty provision in this.
Yeah, well, the
that
penalty,
works this way.
for the noise,
Yeah.
but not for the zoning, because the 30 days was for, city ordinance, safety or building violations.
Yeah, and I think number 10, does give a grace period and a right to cure, whereas, like, for example, the prior permit did not have that, and so if there was any sort of a building code violation or anything, the remedy would be, or could be at that point, just revocation, just because it would be a violation of the conditions of the conditional use permit. And so allowing 30 days to fix it, you know, is, I think, along with what you were talking about before, Alderman Johnston, that it allows, Mr. Strout to come in compliance without having the only remedy being revocation of the permit.
Number 10, we discussed. Does anyone have anything on, anyone add additional number 10? We already discussed about the,
I have a question on 9 again.
Okay.
Whether or not does the health department come out and inspect your,
Before we race, the health department comes out and inspect our kitchen and all that stuff. And then my insurance company actually comes out and checks the bleachers, the wall, the catch fence, and any safety issues, because they insure the risk out there at the track. So we have inspections. Now, they don't do building codes like Ryan said, so, but any safety issues, they come out. And then, of course, the health department comes out and does the health inspection before we open.
they come out for every race?
No, not every race now, but no. They'll come out usually 2 or 3 times a year, or if there's a complaint,
yeah, they,
if somebody
they can
complains.
go out anytime they want.
Yeah, they
They're
can
just
come out.
located down the street from me now, so.
Yeah, they drive by me several times. And they've done several, we've never had a major infraction, you know, somebody, like an extension cord or something. I mean, it's, anytime they've ever come out, we haven't had any problems with the health department. Just minor stuff, nothing, no critical infractions is what they call them.
I'm assuming like the fire department probably does inspections, but, I mean, right, they do all that stuff themselves, so. That answer your question, Wanda? Okay. Number 10 we talked about, so. Ken, do you have it all written down there? You wanna read it back to us?
Sure.
I'll just kinda go, tell you what we're gonna, he's gonna read back what we have, and then what we'll need a directive, I'll need a motion from someone on the board to give staff a directive to write the ordinance. And then staff will write the am I doing that correct?
Yeah, you don't have, I don't think you don't have to have a directive.
Oh, I don't, okay.
No, I mean, you can, if you want to, I think you can,
We just need consensus.
but we just need a consensus
We
from
just
the
need everyone
board
to nod their head that he
to-
reads that, or,
ordinance, and then the ordinance will be written down and then placed on the agenda of the next meeting.
Is it necessary that it be reread?
No.
no, I just,
We've been over this for an hour now.
okay, well, I just wanna make sure everyone has it. Is everyone comfortable with what we've discussed?
Yes.
Okay. Is that what you need then?
Yes.
Okay.
We just need the direction to write the ordinance that will be put up at the next meeting, and then, you know, there'll be a motion on that ordinance, second, a discussion.
One other thing. In the spirit of cooperation, is there any way we can waive restrictions on him to where he can run his tests and tunes this month?
Yes, I think you can. You would need a motion and to vote on that,
I'd
though.
like to make a motion that we waive restrictions on the tests and tunes for the month of March.
They appreciate it. I have a lot of drivers that are,
I
and
got
again,
motion.
just to where everybody knows, whenever we do testing tunes, there's one car on the track at a time. Just one car and that's it.
And that's 7 days a week?
No, just Sunday. Actually, Saturday or Sunday, whichever day's the warmest.
Just a
Just one
weekend.
day, yeah. Either Saturday or Sundays when we do them.
And his daytime events, it's
Yeah,
not nighttime.
it's usually from 12 to 4. I mean,
Got a motion from Alderman Johnston to waive this to where, tests and tunes can happen on Saturday and Sunday, be one car on the track during the day.
That's what
during
it is.
daytime.
That's what tests and tunes are.
Do I have a second?
Is this just during the month of March?
yeah, once the CUP's done, it's
It'd
not
be
an
approved.
issue anymore.
CUP is
It's-
done.
Yeah.
Second.
Second, Alderman Schaper. Any discussion?
I have one question. What are your safety precautions while the races are running? Do you have rescue crews there, medical people there to make sure that there's an incident?
John Knox brings an ambulance out with, 2 paramedics whenever we race.
Okay, I know that's when you race.
Yeah.
Do you do that on the test and tunes?
Usually whenever we do the test and tunes, we have a EMT out there, is what we do. And then something happens, we call, I mean, nobody transports anywhere. If something happens, we have to call Central Jack. Nobody transports, so if anything happens, we have to call you. But again, on test and tunes, there's 1 car out there, and I understand what you're saying. We have it's not a paramedic, but an EMT on practice days.
It's more your responsibility.
Yeah,
than
yeah, I
anything.
understand,
Make sure
yeah.
we're
And my insurance company requires
taking care of
it, so-
those drivers out there and
Yeah,
any bystanders that might be in the area, you know.
yeah.
Matt, let me ask you this. I always ask this. You know, Matt, does this set us up in the future? Because basically they're gonna waive the requirement of conditional use permits. Does this set us up in the future? Because there's a whole list of businesses that require conditional use permits.
Well, this is.
Funeral homes,
This
adult
is a-
bookstores, I'm just thinking. I don't
Yeah,
want
this-
somebody to open up an adult bookstore in town and say, hey, I don't need a permit because you waived his permit. for me."
I don't think so. I think this has been a special situation, I mean, that we've been dealing with for a long time. So I mean, we've had numerous public hearings. We've gone through the planning and zoning commission, we've had a public hearing tonight. So I don't see this as setting any sort of precedence for, and the other thing is this is very limited race. It's just limited racing with 1 car on a track for 1 month.
Yeah, it's not even really a race, I mean,
I don't see that as setting a bad precedent.
Anyone else have any discussion on it?
Considering what brought us here tonight, to everything leading up to this point, I think we should wait till the conditional use permit's done before we move on. That's all.
Anyone else have anything?
Not on
Yeah, I
Bob's.
can hear everyone talk, so.
No, I was just sitting here thinking of the past year. We've accomplished something in 2 months. Why do you think this has taken us so long to get to this point?
part of my hard-headedness, of feeling like I was stabbed in the back, you know, to be quite honest, if you want me to be candid with you, you know, my conditional use was canceled by a unanimous vote of this board, and I took it personal, very personal.
Anyone else have anything? All right, seeing none, all in favor of just waiving it, we can do the test and twos, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
That's 5-1. All right. So we have that, and then you have everything you need for the ordinance, right? Yep. And that'll be on the agenda the 23rd?
Yeah, and we had everything videoed, so, I mean,
Okay.
if there's any question about what was said, we can always go back and look at that, but...
Okay. Anybody else have anything then for this PUP? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate, all of your hard effort, and I probably wish we would've done this 2 or 3 years ago, but again, I'll take most of the responsibility. Thank you.
Take.
It's cold. Ask Matt and finish,
That's what I'm freezing
CIP
to
and CUP when the lawsuit be done.
All right, good?
That lady may be just fine.
Okay, gonna call this meeting back to order.
Who's bad at singing?
Seeing no new business or discussion, move on to ordinances.
This is Bill B 15-04, an ordinance to clarify duplicate numbering of ordinance 2347 by changing bill number B 14-29 to ordinance number 2347A.
Bill 15-04 for its first reading, bring it back for its second reading by number only.
Okay, I have a motion by Alderman Arnold to accept Bill B 15-04 for its first reading, bring it back by title only for its second reading. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Johnston. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, this is, just, as it says, an ordinance clarifying some duplicate numbering we had. Back in 2014, we passed Bill 14, number 23, which was the fiscal year 2015 budget for the city. And we also passed Bill number B 1429, which was an ordinance amending the cost share agreement with MoDOT. Both of those bills were passed as Bill 2347, and so in order just to clarify that for our own bookkeeping reasons, we're just adding the suffix of A to the one that was for the cost share agreement.
Okay. Anyone have any questions about that? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
6-0 first, Mayor.
Move on to resolutions.
This is Resolution R 15-07, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Grand Valley, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to purchase 3 live fitness cross trainers for the Parks and Recreation Fitness Center.
Mayor, I move we, accept resolution 15-07 as read.
I have a motion by Alderman Kelly to accept resolution R 15-07. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Scully. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
6-0, Mayor. This is bill number R 15-08, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Grand Valley, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to purchase a 3/4 ton utility truck for the Community Development Department's Public Works Division fleet.
Mayor, I move that we, accept resolution number 1508 as read.
I have a motion by Alderman Schaper to approve resolution R 15-08. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Headley. Any discussion?
Yeah, I've got a question. Is this an extended, I looked the specs on it, I didn't see it, but is this an extended cab?
It is not. It's a standard cab. This is gonna replace, right now we have a Dodge Dakota that we go and use for, doing meter reading and meter repairs. But all that, it just has a camper shell on it, and so everything's just kind of thrown in there. We have to take it out and put it back in. This is gonna be a 3/4 ton truck, and it's gonna have a utility bed on it to where we can have everything in there and secured. So when we have somebody go out, they can make those repairs right then instead of having to make multiple trips back and forth.
Do we have any additional questions? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
6-0, Mayor. This is resolution R 15-09, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Grand Valley, Missouri, to enter into an agreement with the Missouri Department of Transportation for grant-funded overtime for DWI enforcement, hazardous moving violations, and occupant protection services.
Mayor, I move that we accept resolution 15-09 as read.
I have a motion from Alderman Arnold to approve resolution R 15-09. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Scully. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And then, Matt, if you want to, unless someone has opposition, you know, if you just want to read all of these together, unless somebody wants one pulled out.
I have one I have a problem with.
You want, okay, which one would you like?
It's the one that's bringing in that, I got some questions on. I can't see it now. Oh, there it is, it's, 12.
1512? Okay. Pull 1512 out and read it separate. Anybody else have another one they want pulled out separate to discuss? Okay.
Bill number R 15-10, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Grand Valley, Missouri, appointing Alan Lefkoe and Jeff Smith as financial institution representatives to the Grand Valley Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors. Bill number R 15-11, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Grand Valley, Missouri, appointing Dave Hackett as the state community representative to the Grand Valley Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors. Bill number R 15-13, resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Grand Valley, Missouri, appointing Kim Rome as the resident representative to the Grand Valley Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors. Bill number R-15-14, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Grand Valley, Missouri, appointing Dr. Roy Moss as the Grand Valley R-5 School District representative to the Grand Valley Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors. And bill number R-15-15, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Grand Valley, Missouri, appointing Ryan Hunt as the City Administrator representative to the Grand Valley Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors.
Do you do 16? 16 also. This is Yolanda.
And bill number R-15-16, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Grand Valley, Missouri, appointing Yolanda West as the Board of Aldermen representative to the Grand Valley Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors.
All right.
Mayor, I move we accept resolutions 1510, 1511, 1513, 1514, 1515, and 1516 as read.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Arnold. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, just to let you know, this is a housekeeping item. As we started to go through and review the bylaws for the Economic Development Corporation, we realized that appointments needed to be made by resolution. So we went through the record and found which ones had been made via resolution and who had not. So all of these are just official appointments. I would like to say that we met today, the EDC met this morning, and they amended their bylaws as we start to kind of work down the road to get it more functional and get it more self-sufficient. One of the things that had never been in there was a representative from Central Jackson County Fire Protection District, and so that was added in today. Rather than come in late to the game, we decided to just wait until next board meeting, and we will be adding resolutions to appoint Eddie Sappel as he will be the representative for the Chamber of Commerce as the president. Todd Farley will be the representative from CJC, and Kelly Smith will be a representative from the business development community. At that time, once that happens, then Zach Cross would move from the chamber position to an at-large position. So, if you have any questions regarding those appointments, or why we're appointing these right now.
Do you have any questions on those? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
6-0, Mayor. This is bill number R-15-12, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Grand Valley, Missouri, appointing Leila Hollins, Krista Claus, Zach Cross, Lance Shepard, and David Ward to the Grand Valley Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors.
Mayor, I move we accept resolution 15-12 as read.
Okay, I have a motion from Alderman Haley to approve resolution R-15-12. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Schaper. Any discussion?
Zach, I was told you were resigning from the chamber.
This is true. I will be resigning from the chamber possibly at the end of the month, if not into April. But my intentions are still to be in the community and part of the chamber. I'm not wiping my hands clean of the community. I'm just moving on.
Well, my problem is Zach's no longer a businessman here. He used to be. He's not a resident, and I don't see the, being on the board.
Isn't there a number of these folks that are not residents?
They're businessmen if they
None of
are.
them are.
That's true.
I mean, I guess my thought about that is, he's not a resident and doesn't own a business, but have you been on this board since pretty much the start?
No, I was.
No, I came on this board last year when I appointed. I wanted to be on this board for some time. I would say that if I have an opportunity to speak for myself, I'd like to stay on just based on my experience in the community. It's nice to have someone who actually gets out and does retention visits on this committee.
That was gonna be my comments. I mean, he has had a newspaper in town. He knows quite a few of the people. He he has got out and visited, so I don't have a problem with him. Plus, he is part of the fair board too. He does stay involved with our community.
Anyone have anything else on that? All right then. If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
5-1, Mayor.
All right. Next up, city attorney report.
No report.
City administrator and staff reports.
Yeah, we'll start with Mr. Davies.
Just real quick, been providing the board with an update on our youth baseball and softball programs. Our registration period concluded this past Saturday. We've got, around 450 kids registered, so we've had a great turnout, and we are getting those phone calls for those that didn't register in time to see if they can still get into one of the leagues. So with it concluding this past Saturday, we're in the process of, identifying how many players we have, which will determine how many teams we're going to have, which will then determine how many coaches we're going to need, and then we start looking at who's volunteered to coach. And so we did that over the weekend and today, and we'll be scheduling coaches' meetings this week and next week, and which is good because we generally don't have practices anytime or sooner because of the weather. Our restrooms aren't heated. They're not unwinterized by this time of the month, and we really haven't had an opportunity to maintain the fields because up to about late last week, the grounds was either frozen or too wet. And that's pretty much the case every year. So practices will start up here after we have our coaches' meetings the next couple of weeks, and we'll kick off the season. The other thing I have is I had made some mention to our community gardens that we're implementing this year that we've received some grant dollars for. We received funding for 12 plots, and up to this morning, we have all 12 plots sold. So with not a great deal of advertising up to this point, we've had a pretty good turnout for that, and we hope that each year we'll add more ground plots and that it will continue to grow and be a success in the community. That's all I have.
Where are these plots?
They are on the northeast corner of Main Street and Front Street, where the old house used to sit there on the corner with the...
Walnut.
Or Walnut, yeah.
I had a question for you.
I'm sorry. I keep doing that every week.
Hey, you're all right. On the baseball, can you give me the numbers of, you said 450 kids, and how many teams we're gonna have, and can you reshoot me the email of the prices that we have for that? I'm getting some questions. I've been out visiting with people, and I'm getting some questions about baseball, and I'll get with you more after the meeting.
Sure.
I'll give you a heads up.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Ron.
Mr. Murphy.
I had a few things. First, I wanted to follow up with Alderman Johnston. 2 meetings ago, you'd asked about looking at the arrows on Eagles Parkway, about why they were there. It kind of looks like they were there prior to that development actually happening. So last week, we sent our guys out and ground those arrows off. We're not going to do anything as far as updating the striping. We'll look at that after the project's complete because we don't want to go spend money and do that now and have that get torn up. But we did hopefully address that for the time being. August 1st is going to be our household hazardous waste event. It'll be at the Jackson County Public Works Facility on AA. We partner with them. That'll be August 1st from 8 to noon, so everybody can bring out all those items they can't normally get rid of. Starting April 4th, the yard waste facility off Pink Hill Road will be back up and running. That'll go through November. So that started to pick up at the end of the year, so I think that'll be a good thing again. And then just wanted to give you the heads up, Wednesday is the public hearing at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for the changes to the overlay district that we've talked about for a little while now, with kind of changing the base zoning district and then the, lot sizes. So that'll be coming up here on Wednesday, and that's it.
Ken, have you notified the owners that we're gonna bring out to planning and zoning Wednesday of the businesses downtown that's gonna take place?
We've put it in the paper, and we're gonna try and go through and actually make contact with them now. I've talked to quite a few people that seem to be very aware that it's coming, yeah.
Have you got any feedback?
To be honest, the thing that I've got back is they just wanted to know the date that it was could be done, because there's a few people that are looking at, wanting to do things that aren't currently allowed. So that's been the biggest thing that I've got from people, is just when, so.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right. Two things that I have. The, Planning and Zoning Commission meeting that we have on Wednesday night, will the board be attending that? We need to decide if we're gonna have a quorum, if we need to post that. Scott, you'll be there as a liaison.
Post it just to be safe.
Okay. The mayor forwarded an email last week to me about, Senate Bill number 5. It's a bill that's currently moving forward to limit, revenue that the city can collect from traffic fines. Currently, the Max Creek law limited it to 30% of your general fund. Only 30% of your general fund can come from traffic fines. With Senate Bill number 5, they're trying to lower that to 10%, and anything over 10% goes directly to the school district, goes back to the state to be distributed amongst education. We've crunched our numbers. We're at about 8% to 9%, but I think it's a bigger issue of principle, the state infringing on a municipality's rights to operate and conduct traffic enforcement within their own city. So I had talked to the mayor about it and would like to find out if you guys would like a resolution of opposition against Senate Bill number 5 to be placed on the agenda.
Ryan?
Sir.
Just hearing about it tonight, can you send us out an email so we can read about it? And
Yeah.
then at the next meeting, we bring it back up and visit about putting it on there?
Yep, absolutely.
And you're asking for input we don't know nothing about yet.
Okay.
This is the same bill, I think they talked about this last year as well, didn't they?
It's talked about a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime,
It has a little traction this year.
it's got a lot of traction this year with the Ferguson report and things like that.
Yeah.
About, there are certain cities that have a much larger percentage of revenue coming from municipal court filings.
And a lot of it, my understanding is, in emails I get, a lot of it's stemming from Ferguson and wanting to...
Red light cameras.
Wanting to make police departments accountable. So there's a lot of legislation, I think, right now in police departments, and Chief could probably talk about it. Yeah, I think a lot of it's coming from that,
So, okay, the only other thing that I had for the board tonight is, Ms. Ramsmeyer, which she isn't here, she's at a conference right now. She brought an invoice to me last week. So the board voted to approve the the elections that we have this year for the general municipal election. Absent on that ordinance, or it was an ordinance, was any cost associated with it. It's $17,000 for the election, we expected that and we budgeted it. But I wanted to find out from the board if you all were okay with me going ahead and expending that, since it wasn't in the ordinance as it should have been, the expense. I would just hate to send the invoice, fill out a PO, and then, they're
You have
being...
a choice, you gotta do it, don't you?
No, absolutely we do, but I want to make you feel like you do.
I think you have a limit of 10,000, don't you? You have a limit of like 10,000?
Yeah, city administrator can go up to 10,000. After that, it has to go
Over
to the
his
board.
limit, so I think we need by ordinance or resolution approve it so he can.
And you could actually do it via motion, since it's already been approved. You could just make a motion in a second, to approve the expenditure.
Is that what it typically is every time, or
No, it's more
high?
this year. It's about $4,000 more this year.
is that because there's less stuff on? Cause
Yes,
some,
but-
I don't think
Yeah,
school
there's,
districts are gonna have anybody on, do they?
no,
So we have
so
to.
more of
they
the
normally
burden's on the
pay.
city.
School board, I guess their new rules for them are that if they go unopposed, then they don't have to, they can go straight on to be back into their seat,
Oh,
which,
okay.
that takes their cost out of our election.
Understand?
Yeah.
I motion that we add this cost to the previous.
Okay, motion from Alderman Johnston to add the $72,000 cost. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Arnold. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All against, same sign. All right.
That's all, yep, well, that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Next up, is Board of Alderman reports and comments. Alderman Arnold.
Just wanna ask about the baseball meeting, because I've had people asking me, so it sounds like you're on that, so keep moving. That's all.
Alderman West.
Just wanna thank Ken for all his work on, getting all those things together so that we got that thing resolved finally, hopefully.
Alderman Headley.
Nothing this time.
Alderman Scully.
Nothing at this time.
Alderman Schaefer.
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Alderman Johnston.
Thanks again for taking that, clear that down on, Hughes Parkway. Second, on our Facebook page, you can't join it. A lot of Facebook pages, you can join it, and you automatically get when there's things posted and stuff. With the way it's set up now, you can only, you can go look at it.
Right.
But you don't know as things are coming up.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility to set it as a joint site?
It's not a group is the problem. Yeah.
Like it, I think, right?
So you can like it, and what you can do is then you can go to the settings. If you go to the City of Green Valley's page, there's notification settings, and whenever we update something, it will put it in your news feed and update you. But since it's not an open or closed group, there's no way to really join it.
Okay. Next up is the mayor's report. Okay, I sent you all those things. Sure we got on those?
Actually, yeah,
Yeah,
Mr.
I'm
Murphy,
sure
I
Ken
think
loved
had,
all those I sent him.
Yeah, they're.
Okay. Well, the biggest one I wanted to talk about, well, I'm not the individual addresses, but I know we've talked about this before, underneath the interchange, the sidewalks there.
Yeah, we actually had, Rick send an email over to Matt Killing today, basically saying this is an ongoing issue, what are they willing to do?
We tried power washing it last year. And
Oh, we have, but I think part of the problem is there's not enough flow, so it just kind of stays wet. It's not, it's not constantly moving. So whether it was the rust color that was coming out for a while, or then it was frozen, or now it's mossy.
I mean, I haven't been there, I mean, is it like a mossy substance there now?
It doesn't look green, but it's slick. Something needs to be done with it. It's just because those pipes come right out onto the sidewalk, and it's not sloped enough to take it off. So we do have that email in. Not that we really want to do anything with it, but whether it's them or us that does something, we're probably to that point where we need to look at doing it.
Well, they just still have some kind of bond on it, shouldn't they?
Well, they probably do, but at the same time, if they did it the way the plans were, yeah.
But it's theirs to work on, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why we sent the email over to MoDOT, basically putting them on notice that it's a
I'm sure the
safety
MoDOT
issue.
engineers love hearing from us.
Oh, I'm sure.
You can't.
Probably not on the
We
do
can
not
email
disturb
from
list now.
You can't walk on those in the wintertime, there's so much ice.
Mhm.
They're dangerous in the summertime, that when you walk on there, it's like ice.
Yeah.
You step on it.
All right, I hate to keep sending the guys out there that have to power wash them, but they're not gonna, MoDOT's not gonna do anything, and.
Yeah, like I said, we
may have to get them some brushes and a power washer, I don't know.
Yeah, so that just went out this afternoon, so I don't know if he's responded yet, but.
Okay. All right, well, thanks for getting on those things. That's all I have. Do we have a need for an executive session?
Just for legal.
Okay, we have a need for items under legal. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session. Motion from Alderman Arnold, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Headley, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Alderman Arnold?
Yes.
Alderman West? Alderman Headley?
Yes.
Alderman Scully?
Yep.
Alderman Schaper?
Yes.
Alderman Johnson? All right, we'll adjourn the executive session.